What's up, guys? Today we're just going to talk about business in general. It's one of my favorite subjects to talk about, something I'm incredibly passionate about. It's something that I've spent a great deal of time learning and studying. And not only that, I ran my own business for 14 years. Now I run a coaching and consulting company. So it's just a subject that really intrigues me. And I'm really passionate about it because I spent so much time in pain in my business before I started to learn some of this stuff. So when it comes to your HVAC business, there's kind of an order to do things in order to get better results. Because if you don't get good results, it will burn you out. It will absolutely burn you out. So one of the things that, and not all of these are going to be in order, but at least the first couple are going to be in order. So one of the first things that I'll share with you that we need to do is we've got to get our pricing right. And now I know you've heard me say this multiple times. And I also know that pricing, and I'll just share this with you just in case you've never heard it before, getting your pricing right, that's not the only thing. Because if you just go out there and you charge a lot more for your services, it could get you in a lot of trouble because you haven't increased the value that you actually deliver to the customer. So it's not just a price, you got to add some value, but it's also the number of items that you're offering to a customer on every single call. If you offer more items and you give people options, people like options. Like, think about Amazon. When you go to Amazon and you're searching for something, it always tells you like other people bought this and this and this that went along with this particular item. Well, that's how we like to purchase things. So the combination between your pricing and being able to create some urgency with people to make sure to do something that makes their system more safe, more efficient, more reliable, more comfortable, along with the pricing, along with the value, just creates this package. And when you create this package, then more people say yes, you get more, and they get more. So it's a win. It's a win for everybody. And for some reason, I think a win-win situation, it gets a bad rap. I think people think that when you say win-win, it means that somebody's getting screwed. And that's just not the case. That's not what I mean when I say win-win. I mean, both parties get what they want, need, or desire. So if we can do that, we can deliver that on more times throughout the day through all the service calls that we do, then it creates not only a better customer experience, but it also creates more money and income for your company. But the crazy thing is that it also creates raving fan customers, believe it or not. Because if you just go into somebody's house and you find that their contactor, because here's what happens. The system was old. It wasn't working properly. You go in, you find a bad contactor or run cap. You replace the run cap, and it's still an old system that just doesn't work quite properly. You can even clean it up a little bit. That could be part of your service call. Most of you guys are probably doing that. Cleaning it up a little bit, making sure it's got a clean filter, but it's still not up to industry standards. I mean, honestly, it probably is up to industry standards, but those standards are really poor. So if we can get that back up to like manufacturer standards, or at least as close as possible to manufacturer standards, then the system operates like a completely new system. And I like to say it like this, like of course that costs more money to get the system back up to manufacturer standards. Of course. It's kind of like if you went to the doctor and you had a minor problem that required 2 stitches, like you had a little cut on your arm and you got 2 stitches. The cost of that is relatively low and your life doesn't change. You had a little problem, you got it fixed, you paid a little bit of money, and now your arm is fixed. It's not life-changing. If my hip is bad, or I've got a rotator cuff that's torn completely, and I cannot lift my arm over my head anymore because of this injury, if I go in and I do surgery and I get surgery, I elect to have surgery with my doctor, then that's going to cost more. And the reason it costs more is because it's a lot more in depth. But the great thing about it is my life changes. If everything goes smooth with the surgery, my life changes. So yes, I pay more money, but now I could raise my arm above my head, right? So think about the result that you're trying to get your customer. Yes, you can just get the system up and running again. That's going to be great, but it's not optimal. So if you can make their system optimal by doing your job as a professional and just doing your due diligence, then you can offer some optimal options to increase how this system is going to operate for the rest of its life, which is also going to, as we all know, it's going to extend the equipment's life. So it's going to run longer. It's going to be more efficient. So it's going to cost less to operate. And we're saving them a bunch of money in the future, because now we can go ahead and do what we need to do. And that way we save them the money that they're going to pay to replace this thing if we don't do these optimal repairs. So think about that. So price is one of the first things. Price, the level of value that you increase, along with the way you deliver these packages to your customer and actually offer them. So you do all of that at once, then all of a sudden your value increases tremendously, and all of a sudden you start creating raving fan customers. That's awesome. So that's number one thing. Number two thing that we need to do is, when those calls turn into an opportunity call for the sale of equipment, we got to have a process for that. So if you don't have that kitchen table sales process, or if you got the tech process versus a comfort advisor process, those processes could look different, but you got to have a process. If you don't have a process, then I can promise you, you're not closing as many as you would like to close or could close. And we're talking, that could be the difference of $250,000 a year, could be the difference of $4 million a year. Just depends on where you're at in your business. But what I'm saying is, we're leaving money on the table. So if we don't get these things right, then we're just going to continue to leave money on the table. Number 3 thing that we have to do is we got to get a lot better on the phones. If we're not getting better on the phones every day, if we're not listening to phone calls, if we're not making sure that we're closing as many of those calls as possible, getting people actually booked on the schedule, because all day long people are calling, hey, what do you guys charge for Freon? Right? How much to come out and take a look at my system? Well, if you don't know how many of those types of calls that you just blurt out a price and those people wind up, okay, let me talk to my husband, or let me talk to my wife and I'll call you back, and you never hear from them again. You don't even think about it throughout your day, about how many of those calls you've gotten just this summer. Or you cannot get there same day. So they're like, okay, well, I don't want to schedule just yet. Let me call you back. And they're calling somebody else to see if they can get out there faster. Well, we can get better at those calls, converting those into booked appointments on our calendar, then automatically your revenue increases. And then if you're doing everything we just talked about, then it might be increasing exponentially. And a lot of those, it's hard to say exactly how many, unless you're tracking this stuff, but a lot of those are going to turn into equipment sales. So it's hard to monetize exactly how much money you're losing by just those 2 main things that we've talked about. The next thing I would do when it comes to fixing my business, we've got a better process on the technician side. We've got a better process on the phone side, and we've got our pricing right. So maybe we're on the 3rd thing now, or the 4th thing. So maybe the 4th thing that I would do is I would start making sure that I have what I need on not 99%, but like 85% of the time when I go to a call. I need to make sure I have what I need. We realized that this was a problem very early in our business, and so we stopped. Like when it was just me running calls, that's one thing, because I kept a well-stocked truck. Anytime I used something, I took a mental note of it and I made sure to replace it. And it was very rare that I ever forgot to replace something. But technicians might not be as good as you about making sure that their truck is stocked. So having a truck stock process and a list to know exactly what to stock, that's something that we spent 3.5 days just trying to figure out. Like, what are we going to stock on every vehicle. 3.5 days to put a list together, a comprehensive list of what's going to go on each vehicle. So if you don't have that right, when you actually monetize that and you try to figure like exactly how much money it's costing you every time you go to a customer's house and you don't have what you need, it could be breaking the bank. I'm just here to tell you, it could be absolutely breaking the bank. You got to get more efficient. So that's one of the things we did. So if that's not fixed, you got to fix that. The next thing is kind of a stock issue as well, because this crushes our efficiency. And when our efficiency goes in the toilet, so does our profits. So if we're not fixing, so now we're on, let's say this is number 5 thing in order that I would fix, probably in pretty close to this order is what I'd work on. So the next thing is making sure that when we go do a bid, that the bid process for the items that we're going to pull to actually go do this job, we have to make sure that those items are like 9.999 out of 10 jobs. We have what we need when we actually go to install the job, because that alone could be completely destroying your efficiency, right? So you have to have a process for that to make sure that when you go to bid a job, you actually pull everything that you need. That way the installers, or if it's you, has everything they need to do the job to keep them on the job. We don't want to have to be leaving the job quite possibly multiple times throughout the day because we don't have everything on the truck. And if the truck isn't being stocked properly, even the things that, it could just be regular stock stuff that you find that you don't have. So we can't have that happening either. We got to make sure that the trucks are stocked with the regular stock that cover a lot of the stuff that if we come across some weird deal where we need 3 foot of number 10 wire to finish an install, you should have that on your truck. It shouldn't be like some special item. It's just truck stock. So that was killing us, like not having what we needed when we did the install. So you got to get that fixed. Now, the next thing that I would fix is something that absolutely started killing me one summer. And I think I talked about this on another video, but I'll talk about it again, is callbacks. So if we don't have like the service call process down to make sure that we're thorough and we investigate everything, we evaluate everything, then what happens is we wind up missing a lot of stuff, which creates callbacks. And everybody wants more calls. Well, if you are having a bunch of callbacks, more calls is not going to save you, because more calls cost your business a ton of money. It's kind of like what I said earlier. We got to monetize that. Like, how much money is it actually costing us? Probably quite a bit. So we got to stop doing callbacks, and we need process in order to help minimize those callbacks. But at the same time, when it comes to installation callbacks, we need a quality control process. Because if you don't have a quality control process, you're going to just be manufacturing callbacks all day long, every day. By the end of the summer, you've done hundreds of callbacks. You've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars due to your inefficiency. So more calls, more sales, more marketing, all this stuff, like it doesn't help your business if you don't get everything that I've talked about so far. If you don't get that right, it doesn't help. It will actually make things worse, because now you're increasing the volume. Let's say you do some marketing that actually works and you increase the volume even more, but it's just creating more and more callbacks and inefficiencies because you haven't fixed all these things in your business. So we have courses on this, a whole bunch of different courses when it comes to fixing all this, like quality control processes, optimizing system installations, truck stock. Like, truck stock seems like such a boring subject. It's something that could possibly be costing your company hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. So we've got little courses on all of these. I say little, but they're incredibly thorough with implementable processes that you can just take and plug and play into your business. And once you do that and fix each one, all the things that I just talked about, then your business is going to do a lot better. You're going to make a lot more money. You're going to be a lot more efficient. There'll be a lot more headaches. All the team will get along better. The customers are going to be happier. Everything just starts running a lot smoother when you fix those things. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So if you'd like to learn more, then there's going to be a link in the description. You're welcome to check it out. Our basic membership, it's $197 a month. super affordable. You can learn everything that I just taught you, plus so much more. So, or everything that we talked about. I didn't teach a whole lot. I'm just kind of telling you, this is the things that I would fix in my business to make things run and operate a lot better so that we can make more money and actually grow. So I can eventually, if I'm the business owner and I'm always in the truck, or if I'm the business owner and even if I'm not in the truck, but we're just not quite as profitable as we should be, and we don't have the funds to actually grow the business, it's because I can tell you 9 out of 10 people, everything that we've talked about here in this video, don't have those things right. So I would love to help you get those things right if you want to take some of my trainings. If not, cool. Hopefully this opened your eyes or awakened you to something that may need fixed in your business, and you can go do that. So anyhow, I'll let you guys go for now. Love you guys. Go make money. Boom. Check the link in the description if you're interested. Boom.